Folks, it's me, Denny Carter from Rotoworld and NBC Sports, coming at you for the Week 12 Fantasy Football Q&A on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel. I come here every Friday for you to gather the people and to field their questions and to answer them accurately 100% of the time. That's my promise. It's a money-back guarantee situation. So whatever money you pay me to answer your questions, you get back if I was wrong. Just remember that going forward. So we're going to get into what we normally do here. We're going to look at good game environments, meaning, projected points by Vegas. We're going to look at slot receiver matchups because that's something I like to do. And we're going to look at running back matchups based on some nerdy metrics, one in particular, as we always do. In between those things, I'm going to answer your questions now. I just want to start, get in your questions. I'm going to just give you a few minutes here. I want to start by saying that I hope I wasn't the only one last night to think that the Bills' season was over when Josh Allen was crushed from behind by that Houston lineman and seemingly, fell on his wrist in a way that it looked extremely broken. Am I the only one? I was watching it with my son, and I see this. I see the injury happen, and I see Josh Allen, the toughest guy alive. Okay, there's a sliding scale of toughness when it comes to quarterbacks. Joe Burrow. With Josh Allen, he's never hurt. He just absorbs contact hits all day, and he's never hurt. But he takes this hit, and he's writhing in pain. Writhing, right? Like legs just jumping up and down. The trainers are trying to calm him down. His linemen are taking off their helmets and taking a knee. Man, that looked to me, I was like, okay, that's a broken something. That's a season ender. Whatever it was, that's a season ender. And the guy gets up and runs to the bench, puts on his hat, and the trainers are like, "Are you okay or what?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine." Didn't even go to the blue medical tent. I don't even know what to say about that. Goes from, season over for Buffalo to I'm actually okay. I don't understand Josh Allen. I think he's probably the toughest guy to ever play any professional sport. All right, let's start with it's amazing because I'm 42 years old. I've been watching NFL for my whole life. I've seen some injuries. I've seen how players react when they are truly hurt, really hurt. And it looked for all the world to be that last night against the Texans. And the fact that it wasn't even close to that he was fine. I don't know. It will be interesting. The injury report next week will be interesting because it appeared that Josh Allen was nursing a wrist injury, a hand injury, something in his ribs, definitely a back issue. Every time he went down, you thought, okay, well, you should probably just stay down, Josh. But he didn't. All right, let's get to positive game environments. Obviously, this doesn't mean you should play everybody in these games over better options, but it is a good tiebreaker. If you trust these projections, by Vegas, these game totals, and you want to get a part of a back and forth game with a secondary, tertiary sort of player, then that's what this is for. So let me take a sip of my coffee. And we'll get in. Oh, it's so weak. It's so weak and good. Don't let the haters tell you that strong coffee is the only legitimate form of coffee. All right. So Patriots Bengals is up to 51.5 points. It's the highest of the week. I guess this is because Joe Burrow is pretending like he's going to play. I don't think he will. Either way, you're playing everybody. Kayshon Boutte, he should be back. He's been practicing. Assuming that he takes on his normal role as the downfield option for Drake May. I wrote about this in Regression Files. That's such a valuable role right now. You probably need to figure out a way to get him, Kayshon Boutte, into your lineup. Hunter Henry becomes interesting against a Bengals defense that allows a league high 9.5 targets to the tight end position every week. So those are the kind of players I'm talking about. And then on the Bengals side, with Jamar Chase out, obviously T. Higgins is a smash. Noah Fant becomes somewhat interesting. Andre Yoshivas, I hope I said his name right. It becomes more than interesting, assuming that the Bengals are going to be playing from behind. And then I don't worry about if Ramondre Stevenson returns to the lineup for New England this week. It doesn't matter. Like, this is the kind of matchup. Maybe it'll matter down the line for Shavion Henderson, but for me, it doesn't matter because Henderson can absolutely get there for fantasy managers against just a non-existent Cincinnati run defense. A Cincinnati run defense that is allowing, I think, the second highest rate of rush yards before contact. And that's really, with a guy like Shavion Henderson, that's what you're looking for. You want Henderson to have the ability to just not be touched for the first 2 or 3 yards, and then he's gone. He's that sort of explosive back, right? So it matters a lot to a guy like Shavion Henderson to play that sort of run defense. And by that sort of run defense, I mean a bad one. So even if he sees 12 touches, 14 touches or whatever, he should still be fine. Let's go on to the Chiefs Colts game. 50-point total. You're playing all your Chiefs. Obviously, keep Kelsey rolling. The Colts are allowing the third highest rate of tight end targets per game. You're playing Rice. I don't think that you should try to play any of the Kansas City running backs. And stop with the Brashard Smith stuff. Just stop, please. On the Colts side, I say this every week when the Colts play, but you have to see Alec Pierce as someone who has to be in your lineup in 12-team leagues. He has to be either a flex or whatever. However you got to do it. Get Alec Pierce into your lineup. I talked about him on Thursday's Rotoworld football show where we previewed every Week 12 game. Check that out with me, Kyle Dvorak, and Rotopat. I guess that would be that would be the situation with the Colts and Chiefs. Giants, Lions are at 50 points. Of course, 31.25 implied total for the Lions. Lions are going to just crush these guys. The Giants play the highest rate of man coverage. Totally over for the Giants. Lots of negative game script incoming for New York. Should be good for Theo Johnson. Should be good for Wan'Dale Robinson. And then we have Rams Bucks. Rams are just totally uninteresting from a fantasy standpoint because you just know who's going to get there. You know who's going to get the ball. So I'm not going to waste your time. With the Bucks, I guess if Chris Godwin plays, apparently the Bucks are saying that he's trending toward playing. Okay. If he plays, I guess he would be a good play. I mean, the Rams are a pass funnel defense. And let's see. I mean, the Rams are 6.5-point favorites here. Assuming the Bucks are having to chase points, I guess Rachaad White is the play over Sean Tucker because Sean Tucker's just not running any routes. And then the last game I wanted to mention, we'll talk about this as the show goes on because the show must go on. Someone once said 49.5-point total for the 49ers and Panthers. I know it feels point chasey. We're going to talk about point chasing today because sometimes you should chase points. So it feels point chasey to be like, oh yeah, play the Panthers. Bryce Young threw for 448 yards last week. He'll just do it again. Not exactly what I'm saying, but it's like a prime matchup here against an injury marred 49ers defense that just is off the charts. A good matchup for opposing passing attacks and is a slight pass funnel. So those are the positive environments. I hope that helped. Let's get to your questions. We have Steve says 4-point throwing touchdown. Okay. Dak or Goff, not Golf. Goff. I am playing against Pickens if that matters. You're playing against Pickens. Yeah. Honestly, I know Goff was terrible last week. He was 30% below his expected completion rate last week. Like, it gets cold once and Jared Goff turns into a turkey. I said it. Not looking forward to turkey for Thanksgiving because it's not good. And no, don't tell me I haven't had the right turkey. I just haven't had good turkey. I've had all kinds of turkey. It's mid, is what I would say if I were a Zoomer. I actually would lean Goff here. I mean, Dak's been rolling. He has to play this Eagles defense that's just taking no prisoners. Honestly, Jared Goff's week 12 matchup doesn't get any better. I wouldn't worry about blowout script either, because like we say on the show all the time, if your quarterback's team scores 35, 40 points in the first 3 quarters, I'm guessing he had something to do with it. So it doesn't really matter that he was benched with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Not benched, but rested. So I'd go with Goff. Let's see. This person says, "Hola, Denny. Hello to you. Better stash. Who's a better stash running back, Neal or Rodriguez?" So this is Devin Neal from New Orleans or Cris Rodriguez. A stash, I would say Neal, because if Kamara misses time down the stretch, it would seemingly be Neal's backfield alone, whereas Cris Rodriguez would still have to share with McNichols and whoever else there in Washington. And then Darnold or Purdy this week. I actually would go Darnold. I'm sorry. Totally messed that up. I would go Purdy. I like Purdy's matchup against the Panthers, and I like that game environment, like I said. So this question is Packers, Raiders, or New Orleans. I'm guessing this means defense. The Saints defense is a smash against Kirk Cousins. The Raiders defense is a smash against Shedeur Sanders. And the Packers the Packers is also a smash against JJ McCarthy. I feel like you can't go terribly wrong here, but I would lean Packers. All right. Lanny Horn. Lanny Horn's in the chat. Hello, Lanny. Happy Friday, Doc. Salute to you. If Ibuka can't go, I think he'll play. I wasn't aware that it was. I feel Lanny Horn. I feel like you assume a lot every week. Like if one of your guys misses 5 seconds of practice, you're like, yeah, he's probably done. He's probably out for the year. Relax, man. Some guys just need a little time off during the week. If he can't go, we're assuming. Well, no, come on. Otten, Charbonnet, Algier, Burden, so many players. Good Lord. Who out of those guys, I guess I'd go. I guess I'd go with Burden. You can't play Matt Collins because Kayshon Bouttie's back. So I'd go with Burden. He took over the slot role. Ben Johnson said they're going to increase his playing time. There you go. Dr. D, that's what they call me online. Who do you like more as a flex? Kayshon Boutte, Darnell Mooney, Dortch, or Yoshivas? That's tough. Now, I want to say, I wrote a lot about the Cardinals-Jaguars game in my matchups column, which you can find on rotoworld.com. I think you would enjoy that if you are considering playing any of the Cardinals this week against Jacksonville. Dortch has a really tough matchup as far as a slot receiver goes. Boutte is very high variance. Mooney is just a bet that the ball has to go somewhere, and it might be to him with Drake London out. I actually would lean Yoshivas there. I hate saying it, actually, but what can you do? All right, we're going to get into slot receiver matchups in just a moment here. Tier says, rest of season, last roster spot, Manungai, Pearsall, Dobbs, Spears, or Corum. Corum is a great stash. I mean, Corum is the kind of stash that you remember in 10 years. You're like, oh, man. I stashed Blake Corum, and he just took me to the dang promised land in the final 3 weeks of the season, 4 weeks, whatever it is. Now, this would necessitate a Kyron Williams injury. We don't root for injuries, but we plan for them. We have to acknowledge the known unknowns. This is what we talk about on the show. So Corum is good. Manungai's also really good. I guess Corum. All right. I gotta move faster. All right. Mr. C. This is from Zork. First of all, it's Dr. C. Pick 2 quarterbacks, if I please. Caleb, Purdy, and Brissett. I would go with Purdy and Brissett. Brissett is still a very good play. Armando says Deneverius Q Cartonium the 13th. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. It's a Friday once again, as David Lynch said. Pick 2 half PPR flexes. Sean Tucker, Christian Watson, Alec Pierce, Tootin, or Jacoby Myers. It has to be Pierce. And I guess Watson. I don't think I can play Sean Tucker. I know it stinks. He's clearly really good. And he was a spreadsheet hero coming out of college, out of Syracuse. Like, he checked all the spreadsheet boxes, and all the dorks were like, man, this guy's really good. Why isn't anyone paying attention to him? And teams totally ignored him, I guess, because he's not fast. It doesn't matter at all. Player speed doesn't matter. And all he does when he gets a decent workload, not even a full workload, when he gets a decent workload, all he does is go goblin mode. Okay? And that's a technical term. I don't use technical terms all the time. He's a goblin. Sean Tucker. I don't know if I can trust him this week. It's a horrible matchup. So I guess Watson and Pierce. There you go. Armando's back in the chat. The Erniest Cardenius Esquire, me again. PPR, man, you put a lot of thought into that, Armando. PPR RB2 and flex Chase Brown, Henderson, Emmanuel Wilson, Wandale, Pierce, or Dobbs. Has to be Chase Brown. He saw 8 targets last week. With Chase out, if P. Ryan is out again, you're talking possible double-digit targets for Chase Brown. Just a PPR cheat code in that sort of circumstance. It really doesn't matter what he does on the ground. And Henderson, you cannot bench Travion Henderson against the Bengals. Like, I looked into it. It's actually a law. It's a law in 43 states. Now, if you live in the 7 states that don't require this, you can actually bench him without facing serious jail time. But you got to check. You got to make sure you live in one of those 7 states. Because if you live in the 43 states that have outlawed it, you're facing serious fines, maybe jail time. So can't not play Travion Henderson. And Armando says this is a must-win game. But thank you. Now that changes everything. Let me give you the real answers then. All right. Rob says, am I insane? I like how that starts. Am I insane for wanting to trade Jaylen Warren for RJ Harvey? I just feel like the 14 touches per game that Harvey is going to get are more valuable than the 14 touches Warren might get. No, you're not insane. You're not insane. Okay. You're normal. You're fine. Okay. Your brain's working properly. It's okay. So Kenny Gainwell, I call him Kenny because I know him personally. Kenneth Gainwell is just taking so much of the pass catching work away from Jaylen Warren. And that really lops off the PPR based upside for Jaylen Warren. So I wouldn't be opposed to this. I mean, Dobbins is done for the fantasy season at least. So I would not oppose that. And you're not crazy. Let's see. The baked ZD. Oh, that's funny. We love our baked ZD, don't we, folks? Half PPR, sit 1. Pitts with Kirk, Ferguson against Philadelphia, or Tez Johnson playing catch up with the Rams. If Chris Godwin's back, then Tez is off the radar. I actually would lean Pitts here, and you're just hoping for a lot of negative script for Atlanta, which I think is kind of a safe bet. I mean, even against the Saints, man, you're down so bad. When I can sit here and be like, well, the Falcons will probably be playing catch up for 3 quarters against the Saints. But with London out, the ball's got to go somewhere. Kirk Cousins cannot push the ball downfield. That's okay for Pitts because he can't run downfield. He's just a guy. Always was just a guy. So I would go with Pitts. Brian says, hello, Doc. Down horrific after Allen's performance. I actually told someone online yesterday to bench Josh Allen. I immediately kind of got queasy about it, but then I was like, no. He's not getting there. Well, I guess because the other option for this person was Lamar Jackson. No, not really sure. I get 4-team league. It might be a guillotine. That's when it must be. It must be a guillotine league. You just pick up guys. But anyway, I felt like Lamar was such a better play than Josh Allen this week. And I was right, as usual. 100% rate of hitting on star sits. Full PPR, pick one between Godwin, Ferguson, or Tootin. Ugh, yikes, man. You are down bad. I guess Godwin if he plays. If not, Ferguson, I don't think you can play Tootin. I mean, he's banged up. Not a good matchup. I don't know. Although if ETN is out for some reason with that shoulder injury, he's missed practice time, and Tootin plays, that I want to be clear. Let me be clear about Bashal Tootin. You gotta play him if ETN is out. Like have to. He becomes like a top 12 play minimum. Okay. All right. Howdy, Dr. Denny. Salute. Full PPR, Juwan Jennings or Quinshon Judkins. I like Jennings there. Judkins is so sensitive to game script. So you're just hoping that the Browns have a lot of positive script. I feel like that's a big assumption with Shedeur Sanders starting. I mean, it would be a big assumption with anybody starting. Let's be real. But I would lean Jennings there. Let's see. This person says Dan Meister 3000. Dan, come on, man. Jeez. I have been called Dan literally 3,000 times in my life, and I've never corrected anyone. Not once. I just go with it. Don't love confrontation. So I'm never ever going to be like, it's actually Denny. Ever heard of it? Ever heard of the restaurant? You don't eat breakfast? Is that what I'm hearing? I'm also one of the victims of Thursday Night Football. There are many. And need upside. Sit one between Tet McMillan, Pierce, and Olave. Look, that's a good trio. You cannot sit Tet McMillan. You got to play him. And honestly, I know I just talked. I know I started the show by being like, Alec Pierce, no matter what. But I did, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Chris Olave, 55% air yard share the last time the Saints played, and it was without Rashid Shaheed, right? So Shaheed's gone. They don't have to do that bit anymore. They can throw it downfield to Olave. He's playing a Falcons secondary that plays 2 high safeties at the league's lowest rate. I couldn't help but notice that. I wrote in regression files that, Olave, per the metrics, looks like a league-changing, league-winning-ish sort of option down the stretch. Good matchups. Tyler Shuck is pushing it downfield, 10.7 air yards per attempt last time they played. So I would lean Olave over McMillan. I'm sorry. McMillan and Olave, I guess, leave Pierce on the bench. Where does Sean Tucker rank with Bucky out? Yeah, Bucky Irving's out. Something's going on with him. I talked about Sean Tucker earlier. Doc, proud Quinshon owner here. Too cute is it too cute? We don't get too cute. I just want to be clear. Let me be clear. We don't get cute on this stream. You get too cute, you get the boot. It's very simple. So let's see. Does this person get the boot? Too cute to stream the Vegas defense against the Browns. Could also stream the Saints against the carcass of the Falcons. Whew. Yeah. Nice writing. Or New England at Cincy. I'm okay with eliminating the Patriots as an option there. I mean, it's not a bad matchup, but I'm more interested in the Saints or the Raiders. I would play the Saints. The Raiders are a little too cute. A little too cute. The Browns pass rush versus the excuse for the Raiders offensive line is a huge mismatch. So play the Browns defense for sure. The Raiders defense, I mean, we all know this, right? If you play fantasy for any amount of time, you know that sometimes you play a defense in your lineup that actually plays well, but their offense puts them in such precarious spots that they can't actually score any real fantasy points, right? So say that, Geno and company turn the ball over 3 times and Myles Garrett has 6 sacks here, 6 or 7 sacks. And then the Raiders defense is continually put in rough spots and so they're not going to get there. So what you're hoping for is that the Raiders score some points early and that Max Crosby and company can tee off on Shedeur, that sort of thing. So the Raiders are a thin bet. I like the Saints a little more. Judkins, let's see, Judkins or Pittman, full PPR. I would go with Judkins there. Brissett or Darts rest of season. Well, Dart's not playing this week. And when he comes back, I mean, this is a guy, 60% of Jackson Dart's fantasy production before his concussion came on the ground. And the team has made a lot of noise about we're going to trim back that part of his game. Not good news for our purposes. I guess Dart if he plays at some point, but I don't want to tell you to drop Brissett either. Sorry. What would you do with Drake London? I would offer my knee to him so that maybe he can play. Let's see, Lions or Packers defense. It's the Lions easily. Lions are they're going to go goblin mode. We're talking about goblins a lot on the show. All right, we're going to get to slot receiver matchups in a second. I saw you at a bar downtown one time. Save a dude's life who was choking on a handful of pretzels. I walked out with 6 beautiful women. I saved the person's life. Yes, that happened. That definitely happened. Thank you for witnessing my life-saving techniques. Juwan Johnson or Kyle Pitts? I think Pitts, just because of the target vacuum created by Drake London being out. Juwan Johnson got away with it last time. His defender kept falling down. I don't really know what was going on with that. All right, let's talk about slot receiver matchups because I like to do that. We're going to talk about adjusted yards per attempt on targets to the slot this season. And that actually aligns closely with, we have enough data now through 11 weeks where that adjusted yards per attempt to the slot aligns closely with the number of targets to the slot against a given defense, because teams know this is the way to exploit them. This is the way to move the ball. You get the idea. So let's start at the top. The 49ers are giving the highest adjusted yards per attempt to slot receivers. It puts Jalen Coker in play. I talked about Jalen Coker on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry and the guys. 75% route rate over the past 2 weeks. You're banking on this, at least I'm banking on this Panthers-Niners game to be interesting for fantasy. Maybe very interesting. We'll see. So I think Coker can be played as a flex in a deep league. Just, FYI for the sickos out there. Bengals defense. I mean, the Bengals just play out everybody, right? So Bengals defense giving up second highest adjusted yards per attempt against the slot. So Stefan Diggs, maybe Hunter Henry, things of that nature. Bears are up next, so that would be good for one of the tight ends for the Steelers. Who knows which one? Maybe Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington came out this week, said that he's 311 pounds. He is a hashtag big boy. I think he's listed at 280, but or maybe 285. You look at him and you're like, come on, man, come on. I mean, it's like Ben Roethlisberger. Do you guys remember Ben Roethlisberger in his final couple years with the Steelers, where he was listed at like 230? You're like, what? Stop it. Stop, Ben. You got to update that number, buddy. You can't leave it the same as it was when you were 22 years old, man. You ain't no 230. Anyway, Darnell Washington, big boy. Panthers giving up the 5th highest rate of adjusted yards per attempt against the slot. So that's Kittle, a little bit of Juwan Jennings, and that's about it. Panthers are, I'm sorry, I just said Lions. Okay, this is a good one. Lions are giving up 9 adjusted yards per attempt to the slot. That's good for Theo Johnson. It's good for Wan'Dale Robinson. Keep that in mind, because obviously they will likely be in trailing script. Okay, let's go to the bottom here. These are slot receiver matchups. Like I said, Jacksonville has just been brutal in a good way for them against slot pass catchers this year. Their adjusted yards per attempt on targets to the slot against the Jags, 3.3 this season. That's a league low by a long shot. So like Greg Dortch, you can downgrade him a little bit, maybe a lot because of that. But now Jacksonville is giving up the 3rd most yards to boundary receivers and the 2nd highest completion rate to on targets to boundary receivers. So it's Michael Wilson's season for sure, I believe. Eagles, 2nd best against the slot. It doesn't matter because you're just playing CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Who cares? Packers, 3rd best. Yeah, I mean, this is horrible for TJ Hawkinson, but you're not playing him anyway. You cannot play that guy in 12-team leagues. And then Kansas City allowing the 4th lowest adjusted yards per attempt to the slot. Josh Downs is only running about half the routes, depending on game script and all that, but not a good matchup, not a good look for him. Here, Rams are finally giving up the 5th lowest rate, or 5th lowest adjusted yards per attempt to the slot. So I guess that actually would be a knock against Godwin, who I've recommended several times now. Nevertheless, I persist. All right, here we go. Let's get to more questions. We'll get to running back matchups in a few minutes. Ian says, I'm in live today. Good for you, buddy. Watson or Michael Wilson at wide receiver? I mean, for me, it's Michael Wilson. Again, I wrote about it, matchup column. You can find it on rotoworld.com. But everything points to Jacoby and company having to drop back a bunch again. The Jags are by far the most extreme pass funnel defense in the league. They're stopping the run. The Cardinals don't have any good running backs anyway. I mean, Michael Wilson kind of locked in for double-digit targets, I feel like, with MHJ out. Obviously, Wilson already better than MHJ. All right, we have sit 1 between Tootin, Myers, and Rashid Shaheed. Ugh, that's brutal. I guess Shaheed, I guess. All right. This person says, is it too cute? Is it too cute to start Michael Wilson over Diggs or Olave? Yeah, you got me. Got me good. He says, my other wide receivers are Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just asking questions. LOL. Sick brag, first of all. Yeah, I mean, you got to play Lamb. You got to play Adams, whatever. Yeah, I guess you can't play Wilson. That's tough, but it just means that you're a good drafter and a good fantasy football player. Congratulations on that. Well, we have a comment here. Josh Allen is a vampire. Of course, he's tough. I didn't know. My bad. Hola, doctor. Need help? Salute. Need help with my second running back and a flex spot. Pick 2 between Tootin, Sean Tucker, Stevenson, Algier, Watson, and Menengai. Who can I drop? I mean, I guess Tootin and Watson, and then you can drop. I don't even know, man. You can't drop Manungai. Stevenson? That's a hard one, man. Let's see. Joey's in the chat. If Josh Jacobs does indeed go, would you start Bam Knight, Devin Neal, or still roll Emmanuel Wilson's as a No. Let's be clear. If Josh Jacobs plays, Emmanuel Wilson's not an option. The entire Packers franchise exists to make Josh Jacobs a thing, to give him the ball no matter what in any circumstance. So let's be clear about that. I guess I would start Bam Knight in that situation. Dr. Dendog, that's what they call me on the streets. I heard you cure flexual frustrations. I do. We shouldn't be ashamed about our flexual frustration problems. I talk about that every week on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour show. This week, Jay Croucher, my buddy on the show, he says, he asks, should we be afraid of playing our Bears pass catchers because of the cold in Chicago and potential shrinkage of the passing game? What did you think I was talking about? And I said no. And I said also, shrinkage is natural. Okay. So we have to remember that. Anyway, am I playing Kayshon Boutte, Diggs, or Ibuka? You're playing Ibuka if he's fully healthy and a go. I mean, Diggs is also a good play. Oh, wow. Doc donated 300 bikes to my grade school a few Christmases back. Not only a doctor, but a saint. I'm a doctor/saint, to be clear. I feared for my life during that tackle being a Josh Allen manager. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I am between Ashton Genty and Judkins. I think there will be a lot of quick passing in this game for the Raiders to avoid Myles Garrett and the Browns pass rush. So that probably means a lot of looks for Genty. So I'd go with him. But still, I do want to say, I mentioned this on the Rotoworld football show on Tuesday, I believe. Genty's averaging like 8 yards after the catch per reception this year, which is a good rate. He's a good pass catcher. Like he's not like a zero. Like he can do that. So even if he's limited again, he's only averaging, I think, 15 carries a game. I know Troy Aikman was like up in arms about that on Monday night, but what are the Raiders supposed to do? They're supposed to hand the ball off to their running back when they're down 3 scores in the third quarter? Man, that's not the way it goes. All right, Jesse says need 3 in PPR. Michael Wilson, Pearsall, Charbonnet, Jacoby Myers are worthy. So Michael Wilson for sure. And then Pearsall, I believe, is in a good spot against the Panthers. And then I can't play Charbonnet. So Ken Walker's supposed to see an increase in usage. I'd lean Worthy, even though totally useless. Hello, Dr. Denny Carter. Superflex League. I need to replace Jackson Dart. My options are Jameis Winston or Tyrod Taylor. I'd go with Jameis. I mean, Tyrod is close, but the Giants were 18% below their expected pass rate last week. It's one of the run heaviest games of the season. It created, what was it? 19 plus 16. So 20, 35 rushing attempts for Singletary and Tracy, right? Combined for 35. That's not happening here, obviously. I think Winston will be forced into a much more pass-heavy approach. All right, a couple more, and then we're going to get into running back matchups. With no Dart, do you still like PPR Merchant, Wan'Dale Robinson, or should I start Parker Washington at flex? I talked about, Wan'Dale being in a good spot against a Lions team that has been pretty generous to opposing slot guys. Assuming the Giants can't establish it like they did last week, I think Wan'Dale Robinson is the play. And then this question is half PPR, choose one receiver and one flex between Alec Pierce, Romeo Doubs, BTJ, and Charbonnet. It's Alec Pierce. And then if Brian Thomas plays, I seriously, I would go with him. I know it sounds like a joke, like I'm doing a bit, but I'm not. So yeah, BTJ and Alec Pierce. And if not, then go with Romeo Dobbs. All right. Hope that helped. All right. Let's go to running back matchups based on a little metric I like to call yards before contact per rush. And we're going to narrow it down here to weeks 5 to 11. Okay. So not whole season numbers. I want to get an up-to-date view of which team is losing at the line of scrimmage, is being pushed back. Teams are creating yards before contact. It matters for some running backs more than others. Like I said, it matters a lot for like Saquon Barkley, Trayvon Henderson. It matters less for like, I don't know, like plotters, like Josh Jacobs and whatnot. So the Bucs actually, shockingly, are still just being gouged on the ground. Over the past, so since week 5, they're giving up a league high 2.87 yards before contact per rush. So Kyron Williams is a good play. I mean, even if Blake Corum still cuts in, sees 35% of the workload, I think that 65% for Kyron could work against these Bucs, especially if the Rams have game script on their side, which they should. Bengals second, giving up the second highest rated yards before contact per rush. So Travion, smash. Washington's third. They're not playing. The Chargers are fourth. They're not playing. The Bears are fifth in this category. So I guess Jaylen Warren, if he plays, will be a good play. I still think Gainwell is interesting for these purposes. I think the Steelers will be a little more run heavy than usual. Cowboys giving up the 6th highest rate of rush yards before contact. So Saquon might be able to give you a fantasy viable game for the first time this season. Giants giving up the 7th highest rate of rush yards before contact. So, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously. And, it puts David Montgomery in play. I know Montgomery's been uninspiring. You're hoping for a touchdown. I think, you could get one with the Lions sporting a nice hefty 31.25 point total in this one. I lost my place here. And then I just wanted to mention, I really lost my place. Here we go. The Titans giving up the 8th highest rate of rush yards before contact. That means a lot for Ken Walker. I mean, he's one of those backs who can thrive in that sort of environment, in that sort of matchup. So keep that in mind for flex purposes. Go to the bottom here. The Texans who actually, gave up a nice game to James Cook last night, averaging 0.99 rush yards before contact over the past 6 games. That's something. The Broncos are second best in this category. They are not playing, I believe. Rams. So yeah, so this is why I'm cool on Sean Tucker, right? He had a dream matchup last week to a Bills defense that's just being gouged time and time again via the ground game. The Bucs had by far their run heaviest game of the year, 11.5% below their expected pass rate. That's just it's not going to happen here. It's a totally different environment against the Rams, with the Bucs being pretty heavy underdogs here. So anyway, the Rams are good at stopping the run. Eagles giving up the 4th lowest rated rush yards before contact. Javonte Williams not in a good spot, not involved in the pass game at all, really. He's only running half the routes over the past 6 weeks. I think he only has 1 target per game over the past 3 or 4. I forget what it was, but no way to know. No way for me to find out at the moment. Chiefs. The Chiefs have been stuffing the run actually since week 5. All their metrics point to a really tough run defense. You're playing Jonathan Taylor, but what this tells us is maybe the Colts can't do that thing where they just get 200 yards from Jonathan Taylor on the ground and wipe their hands and say, okay, we won. Maybe they actually have to drop back and throw it, which they have, and that's bad for real football. Let me tell you, it all comes apart for the Colts when Daniel D. Dimes IV has to drop back and fling it 40, 50 times a game, that's disaster zone, okay, for them. But it means pass volume. It means Pittman, Pierce, maybe Josh Downs, and that tight end, whatever his name is, Tyler Warren. And then the Seahawks stopping the run per the metrics. So there you go. That's our look at rush yards before contact. All right, let's see. We have about 12, 13 minutes left. We're going to get to as many as we can. Stuntman Chuck, we love Stuntman Chuck, is in the chat. Dr. Dentorius, Clive Owen, Wilson, Pickett, Fence, Carter, the 12th. Salute. Who would you start at running back this week? Down comically bad. Half PPR, Bashal Tootin, Rashad White. It's Rashad White for reasons stated earlier. Let's see. Jonathan is in the chat. He's in and around the chat. Some are saying Mark Andrews or Kyle Pitts. PPR, also pick one. Okay, so I'd go with Pitts and then pick one between Wandell, Greg Dortch, and then league counts return yards, or Benson if he plays. I don't like Benson's spot if he plays, so I'm not really. I'd go with Wandell. Let's go with Wandell. Should I drop Dart for Jameis and play him over Caleb Williams? No. Too cute. My God. Never seen anything cuter. You get the boot. Man, my guy is singing my praises. Thank you. Let's see. Trade Tet McMillan and Tyler Warren for McBride. Other receivers are Pickens, Pittman, Addison. I mean, yes. You're getting Trey McBride, who is functioning as an elite wide receiver that you can plug in a tight end. So, yes, I would do that. Tennessee Volunteer says, Doc, I need some help. Bear with me. I will bear with you. I am paid to bear all the way with you. Diggs, Pickens, Higgins. Pick 2 full PPR. Okay. You got to play Higgins, and you got to play Pickens and Higgins there. Full PPR. Let's see. Genty or Judkins. I'm going Genty because it's PPR mostly. And finally, standard scoring gross between Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle or Warren. I would go with Chase Brown and Dowdle. Chase Brown loses a lot of luster because of standard scoring, it's caveman scoring, but what can you do? All right. Hey, Doc, salute. Don't get too cute. But let's see. What is it? Don't get too cute, but Laporta out, and the schedule is nice. I dropped Gadsden for Brock Wright. Still have Ferguson. It's a little cute. I wouldn't drop Gadsden. I actually wrote about it this week. You guys should read my writing sometimes. It's good, I think. So, anyway, Brock Wright ain't doing nothing this week, man. Come on. You can do better than that. Give me a break. What is this, a 20-team league? That's gross. Go Noah Fant. Go. I mean, basically, like when you're looking for like a desperation tight end option, you gotta reach for those positive game environments. I know I just said the Lions are going to score a lot of points, but Brock Wright's not going to be part of it. Come on, man. Let's get real. It's too cute. Yeah, get out. Yeah, get the boot. All right. Hello, Doc. Would you start Hurts or Stafford this week? Eagles offense. Good. I mean, the Dallas defense is improved, but okay, I can't. I'm just telling you, Hurts. Both good matchups. Okay. Would I flex Christian Watson, Downs, or Algier? I'd go with Watson. I can't trust Algier. Happy holidays. I appreciate Luke. Thank you for saying happy holidays. Also, it's not the holidays yet. All right. No Christmas creep in the chat. None. I won't have it. Doc, hello. I was originally in Shanghai Knights. Oh. You're still going with the things about me. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Is Michael Wilson a point chase? He is a point chase, and it's good to chase points in this situation. I talked about it ad nauseum in my column. I talked about it a few minutes ago on the chat. Listen, yes, sometimes it feels gross to be like, this random guy had a good game last week. I will put him in my lineup for the following week. And yeah, sometimes that is stupid. You know how that, I have a good example of how that can be stupid, super stupid. And that's AJ Barner, who saw 10 catches on 11 targets last week for the Seahawks out of freaking nowhere. Excuse my language. And it was all because basically, I mean, he did see an increase in route participation, which we like. It was all because the Seahawks had to throw the ball. Like 43 pass attempts for Sam Darnold. Here's what's not happening against the Titans. Sam Darnold's not going to throw the ball 43 times. If he honestly, if Darnold throws the ball 25 times, I will eat my shirt on air. Okay? This shirt right here. I'll eat it. Don't test me. Please don't throw more than 25 passes, Seattle. So basically, like, even if AJ Barner's role holds this week against Tennessee, you're probably talking 4 targets. Can one of those be a touchdown? Sure. Is it likely? No. So anyway, that's a bad point chase. Michael Wilson is a good process point chase. This person asks, flex Sean Tucker or Alec Pierce. I would go Alec Pierce there pretty easily. 14-team PPR, pick 1 for my flex. Alec Pierce, Tootin, Corum, Rashad White, BTJ. I'd go with Alec Pierce. If Daniel Jones is out, my pickings are slim. What happened? What's going on? What's going on around here? What the hell's going on around here? Is that what Vince Lombardi said? All right. What did I miss? Oh, yeah. Daniel Jones is good to go per Shane Q Steichen the third. What else is going on? Stevenson expected to play. Keishawn Booty, good to go. Mike Tomlin says, see where the weekend leads us on Rodgers. I too will see where the weekend leads me. It might be to 2.5 hard seltzers tonight. Who knows? Could get crazy. What were we talking about? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think you just go with Daniel Jones there. All right. So we have Andrew in the chat. Flex Ricky Pearsall or Manungai. I'd lean Pearsall. Chuckman, Stuntman Chuck says Turkey is irredeemably mid, and the Zoomers would say, yeah, you're right. It's not good. Stop with the turkey. God. I mean, ham is better. Ham. Let's see. A person says Sean Tucker or Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson, easily. Dear doctor, salute. Do I flex Judkins or Michael Wilson? Michael Wilson. Most of my lineup injury. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side? Oh, I got it. I got a Thanksgiving side. And by the way, I'm still gonna do this chat next Friday because I'm there for you. I serve you, the viewer, the questioner, my questioner. The Thanksgiving side. It's green bean casserole, but the good kind, not the bad kind. Green bean casserole, very good stuff. Dr. Carter, why is a Christmas traditions blocking my driveway tootin'? Yeah, we have a running joke that these seasonal shops are built on the property we own when our players do poorly. We have that bit on the Rotoworld football show. I appreciate the shout out to that. Tootin' or one of Watson Jennings. I go with Juwan Jennings there. Yeah. Andrew, salute. Doc, salute. Travion Henderson or Travis Etienne? Henderson. And then would you flex the other one over Emeka Ibuka? That's a good question. It's close, but I don't really worry about Ibuka too much. Buck should be playing from behind. Last week was fluky. the Bucs just had no reason to stop running the ball against Buffalo. They're going to have to drop back and pass more. So, Ibuka goes from, having very little ceiling or floor in that game to having one this week. So that's nice. All right. A few more minutes, guys. Dear doctor, salute. Need a prescription, Judkins or Michael Wilson in PPR. You're going with Michael Wilson, and you're going to like it. Okay? There we go. Would Keaton Mitchell be a thing if Henry gets hurt? I think he would. I think Justice Hill's dealing with an injury. Keaton Mitchell, man, like my guy Zach Kruger from Rotoworld has been a Keaton Mitchell truther since the beginning. Okay? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And he was right. Keaton Mitchell is special, even after suffering another catastrophic knee injury last year, one of several now for his football career. I would think Keaton Mitchell would be the nominal lead back if something happened to Derrick Henry, but nothing will ever happen to Derrick Henry. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Doctor, you're still going. Okay. Am I crazy to be starting the Steelers defense this week? And are there better streaming options? The Jaguars are out there, the Falcons, the Saints. Steelers aren't a bad play because Caleb's a mess, but I would go with the Saints. I'd go with the Saints against Kirk Cousins, who is pretty much my age and is so old and decrepit. Nevertheless, Trey Tucker or DJ Moore. Let me think about that for a second. I'm computing it. I go with DJ Moore. Unfortunately, the Steelers give up a lot of targets and a lot of receptions to the slot, and DJ Moore played a lot of slot. So what can you do? All right. Let's see. Andrew says need to pick up a quarterback off waivers this week. Do I go with Jameis, Tyler Shuck, or Bryce Young? I'd go with Bryce Young. I talked about his matchup earlier. Fannin or Dortch in the second flex. I have Brissett as my starting quarterback. I like in these situations, I just like to go all in. Like you're betting that Brissett is going to be a good play, and he is, but like you're betting Brissett is going to be productive. Maybe not 47 completions, whatever. Maybe not 400 plus yards, but if he has a good day, he's going to bring guys along, right? He's going to bring Michael Wilson along, most likely. He's going to definitely Trey McBride, right? Well, Dortch is the next guy up, right? So I would lean Dortch there. Dr. Denny Carter, hello. What are you watching this weekend outside of football? Pluribus is a show that I've seen advertised to me constantly. I have not watched it. I'm watching a lot of Who's the Boss. I kind of gave up on watching like relevant modern shows. There are too many. We need fewer shows. We need less entertainment. And also I can only watch Peacock. So there you go. Montgomery or Charbonnet. I talked about Montgomery briefly earlier. I would go with Monty. Oh man, we have like a minute left. Who is the odd man out? Devontae Smith, Jalen Warren, or Ibuka? Devontae Smith. So it all depends on if the Eagles play against zone or man coverage. When they play against man coverage, the ball goes almost exclusively to AJ Brown. When they're playing against zone, it goes to Devontae Smith primarily. They're playing against a heavy zone coverage Dallas defense this week. So I think it's Devontae, and I think it's Emeka Ibuka. Don't be freaked out by Ibuka's week 11 situation, guys. Hello, Doc. Hello to you. Remove one running back. Okay. Like a surgery. Tucker, Spears, Singletary. I'm removing. I'm removing Tucker. Ugh. Choose one wide receiver, Tez or Dobbs. Yeah, Dobbs easily. All right, folks. Maybe like one more here. Jesse is in the chat. My playoff pulse is fading. Uh-oh. The doctor has come to rescue you. Need 2 in PPR. AJB, Ibuka, Chase Brown, Michael Wilson, Wando Robinson, or Emmanuel Wilson. Okay, well, need 2. I feel like I'm gonna say like an unspeakable 2. All right, this is the last thing I'm gonna do because I'm already over an hour and whatnot. Let me check on Samaje P. Ryan. Doubtful for week 12. Yeah, see, like I feel like in PPR you have to play Chase Brown in that circumstance. He's in such a good spot. So I'd go with Chase Brown and I'd go with Ibuka. I hate to bench the other guys, but what can you do? All right. That'll do it for the Week 12 Fantasy Football Q&A here on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel. I'm Denny Carter. You can find all my work on rotoworld.com. Check out the Rotoworld Football Show. We previewed all the Week 12 games, me, Kyle Dvorak, and RotoPat. You can find that anywhere podcasts are sold. I will be here, like I said a few minutes ago. I will be here next Friday. Even though it's the Friday after Thanksgiving, I'm going to be here for you. And I'm going to be full of food that's not turkey because turkey's bad. Until then, good luck to you and only you in Week 12.